Coming up on NTC News, posters for a white supremacy group are removed from campus. We will have that story. Plus, you might soon be paying the same as out-of-state students to attend NIU, and we'll tell you why.
And students take to the streets to bring awareness to domestic violence. NTC News starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
Apparently must come down. Hello, I'm Mateo Avila. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Jesse Schlacks. It's Thursday, October 19th. NIU officials are taking down posters circulated around campus promoting a white supremacist group. The organization Identity Evropa is a labeled hate group that targets universities. Flyers promoting opposite views were also discovered on campus. The school administration says all the flyers violate NIU's posting policy, but campus police aren't investigating it as a criminal matter. Acting President Lisa Freeman issued a statement yesterday condemning the flyers' messages. In her email, Freeman said hatred is not something that aligns with the principles of NIU. We spoke with the Dean of Students about the school's policy and decision to take down the signs.
What is challenging is when statements are made that really aren't consistent with the institutional values, and that's where the institution is more likely to stand up and say this is something that we don't agree with.
The dean also said the university is committed to encouraging conversations about diversity.
Out-of-state and international students will soon pay the same tuition rates as those in-state. The Board of Trustees gave the green light to the tuition structure at a special meeting at Altgeld Hall. It was hailed as an effort to curb declining enrollment by enticing more out-of-state students. Changes will go into effect next fall and apply to full-time graduate and undergraduate students. The trustees today also approved a 3% pay raise and extended the raises to employees and unions that are still negotiating contracts.
For nearly 3 years, the state of Illinois did not have a budget. Even though a budget was passed for fiscal year 2018, the future is still uncertain. NTC News reporter David Sivia has more on the story.
Community activists joined together to discuss the repercussions of the 2-year-long Illinois budget impasse at Veranda's Banquet Hall. DeKalb residents and students were in attendance at the event. The panel was presented by WNIJ Radio News, NPR Illinois, and AARP Illinois. Moderated by Sean Crawford, those in attendance were invited to the mic to discuss issues like tax reform, Medicaid, and the state of the university. NIU Chief of Staff to the President, Matt Streb, discussed how the budget impasse affected the university.
So I think we've done a very good job of giving our students a great educational experience. I think if you ask our students, they leave here feeling like they got a great experience, but it's a challenge. We don't have the resources that we want to invest in a lot of the different programs that we want to invest in.
Despite the uncertainties for fiscal year 2019, Streb maintained a positive outlook.
I think the thing that we're proudest of is the fact that our faculty and staff work hard every day. They're underpaid, they haven't had raises in a long time, and they're giving our students an exceptional educational experience. So I think that's something that we're really, really proud of.
This was NPR's 9th installment of the Budget Impasse Panels. For NTC News, I am David Sivia.
With uncertainties looming, NIU officials are under the assumption that fiscal year 2019 will face the same problems as in the past. A Northern Star report on how NIU is allocating funds not only got the students' attention, but the university presidents as well. Acting President Lisa Freeman is responding to the Northern Star's story. The article from earlier this week focused on the $48.3 million that the state gave the university and how NIU only distributed 21% of those funds to academics. In a letter to the editor, Freeman says that the information presented is misleading. She says that NIU's yearly budget is around $400 million and that in 2015, 52% of funds went to instruction.
Another Northern Star report also shows that the campus buildings are in desperate need of repairs. The Illinois Board of Higher Education has reportedly asked for $59 million from the state for capital renewal projects. It includes replacing boilers, repairing stone buildings, and updating steam tunnels. Officials say the state budget issues are what caused problems like delaying the Stevens Hall renovations and other university projects.
Officials are looking to see if the new Husky Line bus routes are more efficient than the old ones. Routes 1L and 1R were removed at the beginning of the year and are now included in routes 2L and 2R. The new routes benefit Barcema students as they don't have to worry about taking 2 buses to class. Students who used to rely on the 1L and 1R routes are still getting used to the new layout. Officials are evaluating the bus routes in an effort to improve them.
Dozens of students showed up in full force yesterday to shed light on assault and violence and its painful impacts. NTC reporter Adam Carr has more on what the NIU community is doing to empower students to speak up.
Wherever we go, yes means yes and no means no.
On Wednesday, the NIU community hosted 2 events to raise awareness for domestic violence and domestic violence prevention. The day started with Come On, a presentation on how to be an active bystander in cases of public and domestic assault. It featured a presentation and PowerPoint presented by Susan Swagel of Affirmative Action and Equity Compliance. She reviewed situations and how we as everyday people can diffuse them. After the presentation, the audience split into groups and discussed how they would approach situations if they were at the scene. Swagel said she really wants to instill the idea that all it takes is one person to be the difference in diffusing a situation.
That's the goal of Affirmative Action and Equity Compliance in this presentation, is to step in, feel that they have that confidence and the ability to do what they have to do to stop negative behavior from happening.
Later, the annual Take Back the Night event was hosted by the Women and Gender Advocacy Alliance. A rally was held at the MLK Commons, with speakers spreading messages of power and fight. In the wake of the Harvey Weinstein scandal, social media has been buzzing with the Me Too campaign. WGAA President Amy Juarez hopes that events like this spur others into being open to discussing domestic and sexual abuse.
At the end of the day, that's like our hope, and at least letting people be aware of the fact that this is going on, like everywhere, not just in Hollywood, but on like campuses nationwide.
Kieran Windsor was a guest speaker, and she wanted to kick off the march with one last message.
Whether you never have to deal with the pain of it, or if you are just an ally looking to help, I hope that no matter what, you all find the courage to fight back. Thank you.
For NTC News, I'm Adam Carr.
Advocacy Alliance is open to anyone who wants to join and help the fight against sexual and domestic violence. Even before the rally, martial arts instructors hosted a self-defense class to teach students how to best handle dangerous situations. Participants learned the ropes of proper punching and other step sequences. Organizers say knowing self-defense can make the difference between life and death.
It's important that you protect your head first and foremost. If you get hit in your body, someone's punching you in the belly or in the chest, it hurts, but you can suffer through that. If someone hits you in the head, you can lose consciousness.
The DeKalb Area Women's Center is planning a similar event geared towards senior citizens.
The autumn colors are in full swing, but the temperatures are still mild.
Caitlin Lord joins us now with a quick look at the weather. Caitlin?
Yeah, there's a cold front coming in this weekend, so temperatures will start to drop as the week continues on. I'll get back to you shortly with more details on that.
Coming up after the break.
Greek life is getting ready for the most popular event of the year.
And we'll tell you about a program that gave locals a taste of the world.
You made this vacation happen, cleverly merging promotions,
double points with every purchase,
and cross-referencing travel sites. Aloha! If you can ace your vacation, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
President Trump draws criticism over his alleged treatment of fallen American soldiers, and North Korea claims it's coming closer to completing a nuclear weapon capable of striking the U.S. Carl Reevy has more in this week's Political Pit Stop.
President Donald Trump is refuting claims of grim treatment in a phone call to the widow of a slain U.S. soldier. Florida Congresswoman Frederica Wilson says she was next to Trump Tuesday when he told Maisha Johnson her deceased husband knew what he signed up for, and he guessed it still hurt. Sergeant LaDavid Johnson and 3 other servicemen were killed in an October 4th ambush in Niger. Trump tweeted Wilson's account of the call was totally fabricated. Another widow says she did not receive any call. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions took the hot seat again on his ties with the Russian government during the presidential campaign. Sessions vehemently denied having improper Russian contacts while testifying Wednesday before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Officials are still investigating alleged Russian meddling in the 2016 elections. Democrats expressed disappointment after Sessions cited executive privilege for not testifying about the firing of FBI Director James Comey. He said he would not discuss confidential conversations with the president. Sessions also defended the latest version of the travel ban, which was quickly blocked by a Hawaii judge. A bill that would criminalize abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy is awaiting a vote at the Senate. The bill was passed in the majority Republican House of Representatives earlier this month by a vote of 237 to 189. Mothers whose lives are at risk or were raped will be exempt from the legislation. Experts believe it will have a hard time passing through the narrowly divided Senate. North Korea says it's edging close to having a reliable nuclear weapon capable of striking the U.S. This comes after North Korea renewed threats last week to launch missiles at the U.S. territory of Guam. President Trump and leader Kim Jong-un had recently exchanged sharp words. Trump said on Twitter the regime would face unprecedented fire and fury. North Korea warned that reckless moves by the U.S. could provoke serious action. That's it for this week's Political Pit Stop. Let's take it back to the desk.
Tune in next week for more politics and an update on foreign affairs.
Tug season is back. The NIU Greek tradition is happening this weekend.
Bea Garcia joins us now with more. Bea?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Sabrina Jeffois, Vice President of Community Service and Events for the Panhellenic Association. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So for those who aren't aware, what is TUGS and what is it benefiting? Where does all the money that's raised go to or support?
So TUGS is actually an event that's held yearly at NIU. Men's actually holds it in the spring, and then the women hold it in the fall. It's kind of a unique tradition that is at NIU, and it's basically just like a huge tug of war competition, but it's super intense. It involves 8 women on each team, basically going against to fight for the rope.
So what kind of behind the scenes work do you do since it is such a big event that all fraternities and sororities participate in?
So I've actually been preparing for the event since summer. And so basically I send out packets to all of the teams participating. I go around to their practices and make sure they're following all the certain rules and obligations that are part of the event. And then I pretty much just make sure everyone's staying safe during the event.
So then how do the fraternities and sororities prepare, what goes into their work?
So basically, the teams have been practicing for a really long time, and I'm super proud of all of them. I know every night they all have 3-hour practices that involves conditioning and practicing their hits and their calling. They really put a lot of effort into the event because they want to work their hardest and show Greek Row who they are.
So why is this event important to the Greek community, and why is it important to you since you have tugged in the past and now you're coordinating the event?
So what's really special about women's tugs is we actually donate all the money. And so I really do enjoy philanthropy, and seeing this side of tugs is really awesome. I've actually tugged the past 2 years, and so now being able to make the calls on the event is super exciting. So I'm just excited to see where it goes.
So then what do you do on the actual day of the event?
So the day of the event, I will be head calling the match and saying, like, tuggers, are you ready? And basically I'm just pumping everyone at the event. If anyone happens to get disqualified, I'll be in charge of stepping on the rope. I pretty much just invite everyone into the event and get everyone excited.
So I know in the past you guys have sold different like t-shirts and sweatshirts.
Yeah.
Like, are those still available, and where can students get tickets if they are interested in going to the event?
So unfortunately, the clothes aren't available anymore. We did have a pre-order sale. This is actually one of the sweatshirts. But the tickets are still available for pre-order. Different girls on my committee are selling them. And then for tickets, they can also be purchased at the door with cash only. Tickets for the weekend are $12 for a weekend pass, $8 for Friday, and $10 for Saturday.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Let's send it back to the desk.
And excitement over tugs is building around campus. We asked around, and this is what you had to say.
Like, I could never do that, but until I got on the rope and got in a trench, I realized anyone can do it. Tugs is a lot of fun, and it's a great way to bond with my sisters.
Every practice I got closer and closer, and like, in terms of the sorority, that's the closest that I've ever felt to my sisters, the girls on the team with me.
I'm just excited about everything. I'm excited to see the other teams. I know DG's looking really good, so I'm excited to see how everyone else is looking.
So what can we expect weather-wise for all those planning to attend tugs this weekend?
Caitlin, should they bundle up or not?
Well, they should definitely have their umbrellas ready. So, going into Friday, it will be mostly sunny with some clouds coming in the early afternoon. The high will be near 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be right around 5-10 miles per hour with gusts possible up to 15 miles per hour. The low for Friday will be 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Going into Saturday, it will definitely be mostly cloudy with rain possible in the afternoon with the high around 74. Winds will be 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 25 miles per hour possible. The low will be around 59 degrees Fahrenheit on Saturday, and the chance of precipitation will be right around that 65 to 70% range, so I definitely would have those umbrellas ready. Saturday will be definitely cloudy with morning showers leading into the early afternoon, clearing as the day goes on. The high for Sunday will be 61 degrees Fahrenheit with a low around 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be 10 to 20 miles per hour. The gusts will be up in that possible 20 mile per hour range with a chance of precipitation at 70%, lowering as the day goes on. As the week continues, Monday we will have a high of 67 degrees Fahrenheit with a low around 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And then with partly sunny, Tuesday will be has a 20% chance of rain with a high around 56 degrees Fahrenheit and a low around 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And then Wednesday will be 56 degrees Fahrenheit, sorry about that, with a low around 40 degrees Fahrenheit, partly sunny. And going into Thursday, it will be 58 degrees Fahrenheit with a slight 10% chance of rain. So that rain isn't over yet, Huskies, with a low around 43 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is your 7-day forecast, Huskies.
Thanks, Caitlin. The Cal Public Library hosted its 8 countries in one-day event last week. Food, clothing, and customs from 8 countries were represented. Organizers say that events like this help people appreciate and learn more about other cultures.
We've had Burmese dancers, we're having Polish dancers, we had people from Trinidad and Tobago who are playing steel pan drums. It's a chance to not only watch those experiences taking place, watch the dancing, watch the music, try the food, but also to talk to the people from those different cultures and communities.
Library officials say they plan to make this an annual event. Coming up after the break.
The Cubs stay alive after a Game 4 victory. NTC Sports has that and more.
And it's a cut above as a local salon gives out free haircuts to kids with special needs. NTC News continues.
College years possible. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading campus tours and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org. You made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
Are you
good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
Last week, we told you how the NIU cheer team is now able to compete nationally again. This week, we got a chance to hear from members of the team to find out what that decision means for them. Chris Tessarolo has more on that story.
Students, staff, and NIU visitors see cheerleading at various school events, including many sports and rallies. However, after a recent student association meeting, the NIU cheerleading team can once again compete nationally. This is a dream that the entire team has been waiting to come true since their career started.
And you hear about like NCAA nationals in Daytona, and you see these videos and other athletes that are going and competing there, and knowing that you get to do that too if you work hard enough, it's very exciting.
Not only does the victory allow the cheerleaders to compete at the NCAA Nationals in Daytona Beach, Florida, but it also gives the team much more support around campus.
And having everyone want to come and support us was really positive, and even having the school newspaper, write about us after, we don't get that kind of recognition every day.
The SA Senate voted on the cheerleaders' proposal, and the team got approved with a sweeping 30-0 victory. The news to the team is career-changing and fulfilling for many.
After the Student Association Board, they had all voted. I believe it was a 30-0 vote, which was one of the best feelings that I think I could have asked for.
For NTC News, I'm Chris Tessarolo.
Keep an eye out for NIU cheer at campus events and cheer them on in their race to nationals.
It's been a busy week in NIU sports.
And the Cubs are trying to keep their season alive. It's time to move it over to the Sports Hub with NTC sports reporter Tom Burton.
Thanks, guys. It's been a crazy week in the world of sports. Let's start off with some good old Husky football. The Huskies look to ride the momentum traveling on the road in conference play. The Huskies took down the Buffalo Bulls 14-13 last weekend. Quarterback Marcus Childers got his first start of the season and helped to get NIU the win. Linebacker Sutton Smith picked up his nation-leading 8th sack of the season. Childers and the Huskies hit the road to take on the Bowling Green State Falcons in Week 3 of conference play. NIU is looking to pick up their 5th win of the season and tie their win total from a season ago. The NIU softball season is right around the corner, and the schedule was released yesterday. The Huskies will face 2 Big Ten teams to begin the season at the Florida Atlantic Tournament, with a game against Michigan State and 2 against Ohio State. NIU finished 33-21 last season and finished the year by going 3-2 in the MAC tournament. The season begins at 8 a.m. February 9th with a game at Ohio State. Associate Vice President and Director of Athletics Sean T. Frazier has taken NIU athletics to new heights. We got a chance to sit and talk to Frazier on what he believes to be his greatest accomplishment throughout his tenure thus far.
Finish up 5 years. It's interesting. I was talking to my beautiful wife and kids, and we talked a little bit about our journey here at NIU. And I think the biggest thing for me right now, if there's any list of accomplishments, is just our overall climb in our GPAs. Look at our GPAs overall. I came here, we were under a 3, and now we're over almost just the cusp of 3.2 overall. So be able to sustain the academic excellence there is fantastic. Got to credit the student athletes and the coaches. Folks got to want it. They got to really want to be great on both sides. We talk about student athlete. A lot of folks will debate if that could actually happen at an FBS Division I level. Well, we got the recipe here. We're able to do it. We've got great academic progress rates. We've got great graduation success rates. And it comes down to the student athlete, our support unit, our coaches, our administrators, holding folks accountable. So my process is that I'm a big one on that. When I take a look at you and I mentor young people, I've got 3 biological children, but I have over 400 children, I say, especially when I have my recruiting process with parents. And holding people accountable is key.
Moving from DeKalb to the Windy City, the Cubbies looked to dodge a sweep at Wrigley last night against the Dodgers. Early in the game, Cubs catcher Wilson Contreras drills a bomb off the left field scoreboard to put the Cubs up 1-0. Later in that same inning, Javier Baez did his Wilson Contreras impersonation with a home run that barely stayed fair. Cubs closer Wade Davis ended the game with a double play off the bat of Cody Bellinger, and the Cubs avoid the sweep from LA. The Cubs and Dodgers will play Game 5 at Chicago tonight at 7 o'clock. The Chicago Bears look to carry the momentum from last week's overtime win against the Baltimore Ravens. Quarterback Mitchell Trubisky will make his 3rd career start against Cam Newton and the 4-2 Carolina Panthers. The Bears will look for continued success in the run game with Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. Both running backs have been exceptional this season in assisting Trubisky in any way they can. Trubisky went 8 for 16 with 113 yards in his last start with 1 passing touchdown. Kickoff against the Panthers is set for noon Sunday at Soldier Field. It's that time of the year again as the Chicago Bulls tip off their season tonight. The Bulls will begin the game against the Toronto Raptors. The Bulls finished the preseason 3-3 and are coming off a 125-104 loss to the Toronto Raptors last Friday. The team was picked to be the worst team in the NBA by several preseason polls and hope to silence the doubters this season with a young and up-and-coming roster. Head coach Fred Hoiberg said he will start Jaren Grant, Justin Holiday, Paul Zipser, Robin Lopez, and rookie Lauri Markkanen tonight. Tip-off is set for 6:30 p.m. up north in Toronto. That'll be it for NTC Sports, and as always, go Huskies. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Tom. For many of us, getting a haircut could be a bit scary, but for some kids, it's downright frightening. So a barber in DeKalb decided to shave off the fear by offering free haircuts to kids with special needs. Katie Smith has more on that story.
Tito Souchet is a barber at Serenity Salon too. He wanted to make a difference by spreading awareness to those with special needs. Once a month, the salon gives free haircuts to those with special needs. He came up with this idea from his own personal experience.
I actually have a son with autism myself, so that's what made me do this, to give back to the community that's neglected or overlooked.
Customer Shane Weber also has a kid with disabilities. He loves Souchet's idea and thinks it brings the community closer.
I don't think it's so much for the salon, it's more for the community, for the kids, you know. Obviously, it's a brighter light on the salon. People respect someone who stands out for the community.
Souchet wants to let people with disabilities know they are always welcome.
I just hope to spread awareness, give back to the community, and let them know they're not alone.
Souchet hopes one day he can open a barbershop specifically for individuals with special needs. For NTC News, I'm Katie Smith.
Serenity Salon 2 is open every day from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And that's it for us. NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University.
In collaboration with WNIJ, we're going to leave you now with Dan Whitaker and the Shinebenders singing Texas. It will air Thursday night at 7 on 89.5 FM and WNIJ.org. Have a good day.
You call my name. Is it still the same game? Games that you play, just like before. You call my name. Too tired to play again. How long will you stay? For you're out the door, just like before.